Alright, next thing I want to go over is using your large field knives or survival knives or camp knives. As you see here, I got my Ka-Bar knife, original Ka-Bar knife. This is what I carry with me at all times on my pack. This is what I use primarily for chopping and cutting through large pieces of wood or large objects. Like I said earlier, you don't really want to try to hack with your smaller knives. It's dangerous. It's not really good on the knives. These heavy-duty knives are made more for that kind of work. And the great thing about these knives is their ability to chop through wood. It's pretty heavy, got a pretty heavy handle, and you can cock back onto it. If you're going to use it for chopping, same rules apply. You want to keep the blade going away from your body. Don't be trying to chop into you, because it could slip, you can hurt yourself. Even if you're trying to cut down a tree, you don't want to be cutting down and have your leg there. Keep your leg out behind it. Keep the blade in front of your whole entire body. Never let anything get in front of the blade. You stay behind the blade. For chopping, the same piece of wood, same thickness, you can just chop through to where you want to cut. There's two ways you could do this. You could chop through the whole entire, all the way around it. Like if you're cutting a larger tree, you can go a larger branch, you can go all the way around it. Or if what I'm doing here, so I'm just going to chop one side to get that weak point. Once I have that weak point, I then can go ahead and apply my pressure, and it'll make a clean break right where I was chopping. Also with this, you can do the other method I showed you, where you're going to cut through and just cut around, just like I showed you with the small utility knives. But with the larger knives, the field knives, Ka-Bars, you do have that extra ability, that extra weight, to use it as a chopping method, use it as a chopping tool. Also with some knives, I don't have one on this one, but you have a lanyard, or some have a hole to put a lanyard, a wrist wrap on it. With that wrist wrap, you can put that around your wrist. It gives you a little bit more security, a little bit firmer of a grip, and a little bit more power when you're coming in and making a chop. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is splitting wood. Obviously, for a lot of things you need to do, you need to split wood down, making feather sticks, making tools, making hammers for whatnot, even for making fire, you need to split wood. And definitely something you could do with both your small utility knife and your large field knife. Obviously for the field knife, you want to use that for larger pieces of wood. It's heavier, it's going to get you through, but I just got this one piece of wood here I'm going to show you. Basically all you're going to do is, it works better if you got a straight piece of wood. You're going to basically line that knife up with dead center. You can use your hand to kind of tap it down into the wood to set it, to seat it in. Now, you want to use the meat of the blade. You can see the blade curves, and on these Ka-Bars they have a serrated portion. You want to use the meat of the blade, the thickest part, the most level part. You don't want to come out here because you have a tendency of splitting or slipping the knife. So you want to think safety, get it in the meat, the most steady, balanced part. Once again, if this is a large piece of wood, I'd be keeping my body away from it. I would keep my feet out from underneath it. You want to keep everything behind the blade. You don't want to be in front of that blade. Now I'm just going to use a piece of wood as a baton to hammer down and split that wood. I'll say if I needed another piece, I could once again go through the same method and split that wood down into quarters. So there you go. It's a quick, easy way to split wood, a safe way to split wood with your field knife. You can do the same thing with your small utility knife. Obviously not for larger pieces of wood, but it'll still work nonetheless. You can take, I'm going to use the same size piece of wood that we just cut with the field knife. Get my knife set in there. Make sure that knife sit in there good. You know, you don't want to just, for safety reasons, you don't just want to put your knife up there and start whacking at it. If it's not sitting in there properly, or if it hits something, you can smack it with your baton, and it can come out and hit you, and it can come out and cut you and cause injury. So you want to make sure that it's set in there. And with your baton, just tap her down to split your wood. So now I got plenty of pieces of dry split wood I can use for whatever I need it for, starting fires, making tools, making a hearth board for a bow drill set. So that's how you would split wood safely with your utility knife or your large field knife.